Kawasaki Z900 was a huge hit in our country with its versatility. It was perfectly usable for commuting and daily riding in the city. It had an inline 4 engine that not only sounded gorgeous but had enough poke to entertain even experienced riders. Of course, it was priced well, it looked good, and the stance was as good as a litre-class motorcycle. There were a few shortcomings though, like the bike's heavy curb weight and the resultant underwhelming handling. And Kawasaki has now replaced the 800 with the new Z900. It's 21 kilos lighter than the 800 and looks even better. Of course, the engine is bigger, which means there's more power to play with. So can the all-new Z900 continue from where the Z800 left? Let's find out. If the Z800 looked good, the Z900 looks even more modern and stunning. Its silhouette is similar to the 800s, but the lines are curvier like the Z1000s with the same muscular hunkered down stance.
The Z900's design isn't as radical as its European rivals, but it does have the aggression a street fighter should. Most of the visual mass is concentrated around the fuel tank with the engine sitting tight under it, which makes the bike look compact even though it is a big motorcycle. The headlamp unit looks small in proportion to the fuel tank, just like the Z1000, adding to its aggressive stance. That said, we would have liked a set of projector beams in there instead of conventional lighting for better visual appeal and better illumination. The design of the instrument console is a bit disappointing as it looks too similar to the smaller Z650s and does not go too well with the rest of the bike's sporty design. It offers a good amount of information though, like tank range, instant and average fuel efficiency, apart from 2 trip meters. Currently, Kawasaki is offering the Z900 in India with a set of mandatory accessories only, but the good news is that these accessories aren't merely cosmetic bits to beautify the motorcycle. The list includes a tall, smoked fly screen which does a good job of protecting you from wind blasts at speeds, and a radiator guard that will prevent the damage from stones and insects. Then there's a set of crash bungs on the front wheels and engine protectors on both sides. There's also a handlebar mounted 12-volt socket that can charge your phone, a tank pad to prevent scratches, and a nice looking rear seat cowl that adds to the sporty design.
The Z900's engine is not a bored out version of the Z800's inline 4. In fact, this is a bored down version of the Z1000s, which originally belonged to the old ZX-10R. And as we've seen on the Z1000, this engine is very quick to rev and is butter smooth. But that's not the biggest highlights about this motor. It's the way the power is sent to the rear wheel in this state of tune is what makes it so nice.
The Z900's power delivery is a lot more linear than what one would expect of an engine sourced from a litre-class superbike. Also, the Z900 offers its peak power at lower revs as compared to the Z800. And with 125 PS of power now, as compared to the 800's 113 PS, you're never short of performance. That's more than enough power for most of our conditions, and the Z900 is indeed a seriously quick motorcycle. It accelerated to 100 km per hour in just 3.8 seconds in our V-Box tests, which is almost as quick as litre-class motorcycles. Mid-range performance is particularly strong, and there's a surge of power as you cross the 5000 RPM mark, almost all the way up to the 11,000 RPM red line. The engine is also quick to build revs, partly thanks to its lighter pistons, which have been manufactured using the same technique as the far more exotic H2Rs. All the while, the exhaust sings out the high-pitched wail that inline 4s are known for, though the bigger delight on the Z900 is the howl from its intake when you open the throttle wide. Considering that this is a street fighter, the gearing is short and has been devised to offer quick acceleration, whether from standstill or through the gears. Clutch feel at the lever is light and the gearbox offers precise shifts at all times. Clearly, the engine and gearbox are tuned to make the Z900 lots of fun for short, quick bursts, be it in the city or in the hills rather than long rides. Another interesting bit about this engine is its efficiency. In our test, the Z900 returned 15 km per litre in city and 22 km per litre on the highway, which is excellent considering its explosive performance.
Unlike most modern motorcycles, Kawasaki has chosen to not equip the Z900 with electronic rider aids like traction control or riding modes. Of course there's ABS, but the idea is to provide a more raw and exciting experience just like the Z1000. That certainly makes the bike more engaging to ride, but it also means that you're out on your own without any electronic nannies and you need to be very judicious with the throttle.
The lack of electronics is something experienced riders are sure to appreciate on a naked like the Z900, since no traction control means this Kawasaki is willing to let you pop wheelies whenever you like. At the same time, Kawasaki has ensured the power delivery is soft and friendly enough for inexperienced riders to not get scared, be it when accelerating in a straight line or opening the throttle at corner exits.
The riding position on this motorcycle is spot on. The handlebar, seat and foot peg combination make for a comfortable posture, and it's the height and the width of the handlebar that offers excellent leverage and feedback. More importantly, at 795mm, the seat height of this motorcycle is almost 40mm lower than the Z800. I'm 5 feet 11 inches tall and I can put both feet firmly on the ground. So if you are shorter, say around 5 feet 4 inches, you could still be comfortable on this motorcycle. Apart from the powertrain, it's the Z900's handling that has impressed me a lot. Of course, the bike is 21 kilos lighter than the 800 and it's the lighter trellis frame that does a lot of work here. But the front end is so sharp and so responsive, I was actually surprised at how quick the bike is to turn into corners or make directional changes very quickly in the city.
The Z900's beefy 41mm upside down forks play a huge role in its brilliant handling as they inspire lots of confidence, particularly when you turn into corners. This, in conjunction with the lighter trellis frame that uses the engine as a stressed member, improves the bike's handling in a big way. So be it slicing through traffic or flicking left-right through chicanes, the Z900 feels extremely light on its feet, which adds to the joy of riding it fast. The Dunlop Sportmax tires the bike runs on also add to the handling with excellent grip levels. But the monoshock at the back is not as stiff as the front suspension, which causes the rear to twitch a bit when entering corners fast. Simply put, the rear end does not exactly keep up with the eagerness of the front end. Also, experienced riders might just find the intrusion from the ABS a little too much, though the twin 300mm discs up front offer good bite even under hard braking. The Z900 is convenient to ride at slow speeds too, and making U-turns at as low as 20 km per hour with both feet up is never a problem. However, at 130mm, the Z900's ground clearance is 20mm lower than the Z800, and there is a possibility of the underside scraping over taller speed breakers.
Despite all that sportiness in terms of the handling, the Z900's ability to soak in bumps and bad roads is excellent. On undulated surfaces, there's a fair bit of vertical movement which I didn't really like, but the ride is flying.
The upside down forks and monoshock on the Z900 are basic units. The monoshock gets the same backlink as the Z800, but it is hydraulic only and does not get a piggyback gas reservoir. Suspension at both ends gets preload and rebound adjustment, and there is no adjustment for compression damping, but the stock settings are good enough for most conditions. On the whole, the Z900 offers a likable balance between sportiness and good ride quality. The ride could have been a bit more settled over bumps, but we never had a problem even on the worst of roads in terms of the cushioning.
So the Z900 is not only better looking and more powerful than the 800, it's definitely more fun to ride. The intake howl and the blistering performance from the engine will ensure you have a blast every time you ride the motorcycle, which makes it a perfect hooligan. The powertrain, chassis and suspension together make it a fantastic motorcycle in most conditions, but the short gearing and the fact that the seat is not too comfortable for longer rides mean this is not the best choice to go touring on. But if you are looking to have fun on your daily commutes or go for early morning rides or even the odd casual track day, the Z900 should feature on your shopping list. And at 9 lakh rupees ex-showroom in New Delhi, I think this bike is good value for money because it also comes bundled with a set of valuable accessories. So to answer my question at the start, the Z900 can certainly continue from where the 800 left off.